today's topic. So in this topic, we are going to discuss about the case study of an existing entrepreneur. I hope everybody knows about him. Let us go for the discussion. The topic has been mentioned as the disrupting the disruption, because this entrepreneur disrupted the entire concept of entrepreneurship and made an impactful entrepreneurship in the life of people also. That is why it has been named as the disrupting the disruption. So, this discussion, we are having the concept why an entrepreneur is called as an digital entrepreneur. There are two situations. The entrepreneur should create something innovation and they have to disrupt everything. So the first outcome of this discussion is about identifying the meaning of digital entrepreneur. The second one aims at identifying the different entrepreneurial process, starting from identifying the opportunity, developing the plan, resource mobilization, and how to manage this organization. The third outcome mentions about the disruptive power. That is, how far the Porter's 5 model has been acceptable for the entrepreneurs. Next outcome, you have to understand what are all the different types of startups in different stages, starting from small business startup, viable startup, lifestyle, scalable, and large-scale companies. The last outcome, you are able to identify what are all the different phases of idea generation also. That is inspiration phase, incubation phase, illumination phase, implementation phase. When you are going through this case study, try to consider these outcomes so that we will see one by one. Let us move on to the case study of this person. Everybody knows. Everybody in our daily life, we are using the cabs. That is Bhavesh Agarwal. The founder of Ola now is in the field of electric vehicles also. So this case study is taken from the book Ola is Forever, Taking Travel to Next Gear, which was written by Deepak Kaista. The story started from the identifying the opportunity. Bhavesh Agarwal has completed his BTech Science degree in Computer Science from IIT Mumbai. Once he completed his degree in IIT Mumbai, he started working in Microsoft Research for 2 years. By the time he gained the knowledge, he also joined with other person for the purpose of technical knowledge. So once he was working in Microsoft Research, he wished to find out whether we can enter into the business or not. So he informed to his parents he was ready to start any business, but as usual, there was hesitation from his parents because his parents are doctors, they are from Ludhiana, and they mentioned that why you want to start a business. Of course, about the Bhavesh Agarwal, in the first attempt he failed in clearing the IIT entrance, but in the next attempt he cleared the IIT entrance with 23rd rank. Of course, the later on story, he married his own girlfriend and they are at present living in Koramangala in Bangalore only. How the inspiration stage started for Bhavesh Agarwal. Once he and his friends were going to Bandipur. By the time, the cab driver suddenly demanded huge money when they were traveling. This Bhavesh Agarwal refused to pay the money. That is excess money. So he was thrown out of the car. By the time he was thinking about whether we can start a travel and tourism business. That was his lifetime inspiration. Once he got the idea, he informed his parents. But parents were very clear. Dad, I want to be in this business. But his father mentioned that, why are you opening a travel agency after getting the degree from IIT? Of course, it was a tough time to Bhavesh Agarwal to convince his own parent. Finally, he convinced him and he made his father also into the business. They started a small travel and tourism organization in website that is called olatrip.com. They registered in Ludhiana along with the ANI Technologies, which is providing the technology know-how for this olatrip.com. Of course, his father was acting as the full-time director. In the beginning stage, he faced the problem. Why we are using only the website for doing the business? Because website was very good. Even then, he was not getting the anticipated response from the customers. So he decided we have to start a new organization, but in the same manner. His value proposition didn't change. His vision never changed. He was thinking about how to start a new business. So based upon his visit to London, he identified in London by the time they were having commuters connected with apps. So he decided, why can't we can create the same type of model? The result emerged. And that was the Ola business model. He decided to create an app and connect the people as well as the commuters, as well as the cab owners. So how to connect these people? He created a new technology in his app based upon his own London visit. He created an Ola interface and he nicely formulated a revenue business model. The commission for identifying the commuters will come to the Bhavesh Agarwal. That is how he created a nice business model. Even he used to retain the 10 to 20% commission. That was his business model. And he started his business, Ola, in Koramangala. Of course, they are having the registered office in different places. In Bangalore, they decided to start the new business, that is ANI Technologies Ola interface model. He branded as the Ola. Once he started his business, that is in the preliminary stage, he decided to get funds. Now Ola was in the initial stage, they have not implemented, and he was thinking about to raise the capital for Ola. Without money, we can't run the business. So he presented his views to the venture capitalist, especially the Tiger Global or SoftBank. He presented his views in front of these people. Since he was an IIT graduate, the funding was not a big problem. However, he demonstrated his nice plan to the audience by the time, and he nicely demonstrated how the business model is able to perform well, how the business model will create a nice impact. As a student of IIT and as a researcher from Microsoft, he presented that business plan. Based upon his presentation by that time, there were more number of venture capitalists. Of course, SoftBank was ready to provide 10,000 crore, followed by Tiger Global. Even some other organizations, DST, Global Matrix, Tencent, all these venture capitalists were ready to provide funds. So the Ola ownership started its own idea. So the idea has been well, and the business fund he received. Now he has to implement. By this time it is called viable startup because the idea belongs to him, but other organization, SoftBank, Tiger Global, they invested with him. He, along with Ankit Bhatti, Naresh Kumar Agarwal, his own father, joined hands and started the first business. He decided to connect the cab drivers as well as the public. The initial phase, the market test was done in Mumbai. Of course, by the time 2009, it was said to be failure. The cab drivers fails to understand the concept of Ola interface. He struggled. He learned 31 languages in Indian situation. Once again, he tested. Only 20 cab drivers came forward. He was a very determined person. He changed the app as a user-friendly. This user-friendly started working after 1 year. 200 cab drivers accepted the challenge to introduce that app in Mumbai. Then he bring that Ola app to Bangalore. And he registered his own app, and from the Bangalore, he decided to start the business. That was how he incubated the business after a very big struggle from these cab owners. Nicely, he identified the bargaining power of the customers. He know who are all the persons coming to Ola. All the public are well determined. Public are very much interested. So, Ola started its own journey. And she created a nice pricing system. If the demand is high, the price tends to increase. He knows the bargaining power of the customer. The Ola office in Koramangala has been flourished. He appointed more than 2,000 people and he decided his own HR strategy. The concept of Ola emerged along with the nice business. So, most of the interviews he used to mention about the idea, how the idea started. When he was thrown out of the cab, when he was going to Bandipur. And he explained in an interview clearly why and what is the intention of starting the Ola. So everything went on well. The business of Ola started flourishing. Once the business of Ola started flourishing, the competitors entered into the field. You know about the first competitor, that is the Uber, which was founded in 2009, but it entered into India only in 2013. For 2.5 years, Ola was said to be the monopoly. The Uber entered into the field of same cab aggregators. Of course, the revenue was higher than the Ola because Uber was an MNC. Ola started only from India. And Uber was having a different plan, and by the time Ola was having less employees, where the Uber employed more number of people. But Ola was having 250,000 driver partners. He decided to overthrow the competition created by the Uber because he was the first person to enter. He identified different places and more than 126 cities he identified and entered into the field. Of course, the competition is needed in business. He nicely managed. Even now, there was severe competition. He started managing. There was a big difference when he compared with the 2014 as well as the 2019. By the time of introduction, Bhavesh Agarwal is the CEO and the co-founder. Ankit Bhatti is the CTO, Chief Technological Officer, and their organization structure was less. But when it comes to 2019, their business plan was very big. They appointed different teams to take care of the Ola. So Ola started flourishing. The business model grows now. Once it started growing, you might have seen the Uber also gave tough competition. The threat from the Uber. However, Uber by the time was functioning in 22 cities, whereas Ola was functioning in 102 cities. That was the nice thing. Of course, there were a number of accusations happened. Even Bhavesh Agarwal accused the taxi for sure. And the funding was more than that of the expected one. He got more than $901.83 million. And its valuation was $5 billion in India. However, Uber was having the valuation even outside the India. So, new threat from the new entrants. He challenged everything and the business started growing nicely. He decided to manage his own business nicely. Of course, in the beginning stage, everything went well. In 2013, very nice thing. Of course, he faced some crisis because of the website, but at that time, he has less than $5 lakh in the bank. In March 2016, they introduced a different product. Of course, Ola Star, Ola Cafe, but later on he closed that one. The Ola shuts down taxi for sure and laid off around 700 employees. And they merged most of the employees with the Ola. So in 2016, some issues with the Ola. So what happened? SoftBank offers to invest in another $1 billion in Ola, but the investment was turned back by the Agarwal. So a lot of issues faced by the Ola since the inspection. Some of the wrong results of the driver, Ola was made responsible. Some of the fraud allegation against the Ola HR people came. However, Agarwal escalates the feed with the largest investor, SoftBank. Once again, he introduced the funding. In 2019, the Ola license in Karnataka has been revoked and state government fined around 15 lakhs. But within week time, the Ola recouped and entered into the business once again. And he started managing. By 2019, the company expanded highly. More rides per day came into that one. The more number of calls he is able to manage compared to 2011 to 2017 and 2019, everything went on well. Because his own rival Uber share slipped from 42% to 39%. So Bhavesh Agarwal decided to get the investments from Hyundai, Kia Motors. He tied up a contract. Even the Hyundai and Kia Motors invested in Ola, and the supplies also came from these people. The scalable business of the Bhavesh Agarwal started. He nicely overcome the problem of competitors and he entered into the unicorn of India. Unicorn, that means more than 10 billion. Of course, first organization with the young people, they entered into the wealth of the unicorns. When they mention about the youngest rich, Ankit Bhatia and Bhavesh Agarwal came into the first place in the age of 28 and 29. That is the unicorn style of the Bhavesh Agarwal. Once the business was flourishing, you know about that one. In the cab, another substitute came in the form of bounce. Instead of having drivers, you can take the bounce vehicle anywhere and anywhere you can drop. Of course, there were some threats from substitutes, but Bhavesh Agarwal nicely managed. He decided to move to another business, but he never dropped the Ola cab aggregators. He decided to create, why can't we can go for manufacturing electric vehicles? So he decided to introduce the electric vehicles, two-wheeler first. That was his next major business. So his second business has been incubated. He mentioned that they are going to manufacture and sell the electric vehicles. The nice show has been created by the Indians. 34,000 registrations came in April for the Ola electric vehicles on the first time. So Ola Electric share crosses 50%. But other electric vehicles in India were very less. They were decreasing, but Ola electric vehicles market has been increasing. Now the Bhavesh Agarwal clearly identified. He decided to focus even three-wheelers in Ola Electric. And the Ola Electric decided to create a new business. Nice. One SoftBank provided the funds. By that time, Ola also entered into the global market in Australia, in Sydney. So everything went on well. And Bhavesh Agarwal identified another business. He met ARM CEO in Taiwan to build the AI chips. He decided to move on to a number of business. Of course, the Ola Electric launch E4 e-bikes model they plan to introduce in 2026. And his business needs 5,500 crore. So what Bhavesh Agarwal did, he decided to go for the initial public offering. Initial public offering means from the startups to the scale-up as an company form of organization. That is, ownership will be with the public. He decided to move in such a manner. So he decided to go for IPO. Ola IPO begins. And it went on well in 2024. And once the Ola IPO has started, Ola becomes an company. Since the Ola IPO comes to an end, immediately Bhavesh Agarwal decided to enter into the listing of Ola shares in stock exchange. He introduced and listed the Ola in NSE. You can see the views about the Ola Electric listed in National Stock Exchange of India. That means from the startup, it scale up to the large scale company. So that now the ownership is, even though he is having the ownership, most of the public also joined because of this IPO. So the Ola becomes the Ola Limited. The entire process of listing started. So once they got money in the Ola Limited, he decided to even to introduce the AI chip. Of course, he mentioned that 2028 is going to introduce the AI chip also, first Indian-made chip, because he easily identified the different stages. In August 15, 2024, that is on the Independence Day, he announced he is going to introduce the new varieties also. Indigenous manufacturing chips. He is having the dream. We expect that the dream will come into the vision. Same date, in August 15, the breaking news came. That is, Ola Electric is going to introduce new vehicles. Even though in the beginning stages, Ola Electric faces loss because they are marketing now only. Now only they got the money as an capital. They decided to introduce the new vehicles in August 15, 2024. He revealed the new models of the Ola electric vehicles. From the cab aggregators, they moved on to the Ola Electric. Of course, in future plan is to introduce the AI also, AI chip. That is how the Bhavesh Agarwal entered into the business. You can see these tremendous changes as a student of IIT to the business leader. You might have seen the first image about the Bhavesh Agarwal when he asked for the venture capital. Now he is the business leader. How he created the Ola electric mobility. A new model has been introduced and you can see the images how far he demonstrated the new vehicles in the opening ceremony. So large-scale business. Yes, from this case study, you have to understand nicely the disruptive person. So we know clearly the stages of Bhavesh Agarwal. How an innovation has been identified by Bhavesh Agarwal, how he disrupted. First thing, a new concept has been introduced as an innovation in India. People decided to move towards the disruptive platform. Everything went on well. That is why he is considered as a digital entrepreneur. Using digital platform, he did everything. He discovered, he prepared, he tested, he planned the marketing strategy. Now he is expanding everything. Next outcome, you have to understand the process of entrepreneurial process. How he evaluated the opportunity. You can see the method of evaluating the opportunity. Once he completed his BTech degree, of course, in opportunity identification, there were a number of failures. He introduced the Ola as an Ola trip, but it was failure. Then he evaluated and identified the opportunity. Then he created the business plan. Then he created the resources. That is the resource mobilization stage. Then he knows how to manage that organization. So these are all the entrepreneurial process you have to understand based upon the Ola story. Likewise, our next outcome is the Porter's model. First, it starts from the bargaining power. How he identified the bargaining power of the people. That is the cab drivers. They are the suppliers. He partnered with number of taxi drivers. He worked 6 hours. So he identified nicely the bargaining power of the suppliers. Then the bargaining power of the buyers. Once he introduced how he changed the pricing system, he knows the power of the buyers. Then how you overcome the first competition, Uber. Then how he identified the threat of the new entrants. And then you must know the substitute also. He overthrown the substitute. That is how the disruptive model of the Ola worked. That means Porter's 5C model. So in this story, you have to understand nicely the bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of buyers, competitive rivalry, threat of new entrants, how he managed the threat of substitute. Next outcome, you might have known the different types of startups. That is, first one is the small business startup. When he introduced the Ola Trip.com, it is said to be the small business startup. Then is the viable startup. When he introduced the Ola concept, he joined hands with the other financial partners. So by the time it was called as the viable startup. Then when the Ola started flourishing, it is the lifestyle startup for customers. They decided to pay me into the Ola and they are using the Ola as the cab computers. Then the Ola gained a very good momentum. When he entered into the unicorn, he is considered as the scalable startup. Now, he is having his own factory. He got very nice money from the IPO. His business has been listed. So, his firm is now as a large-scale company. So, these are all the stages you have to identify based upon the story. Another last outcome, you have to identify different phases of idea generation. How the inspiration phase came. When he was thrown out of the cab, when he was traveling to Bandipur. By the time the inspiration phase, then he created the model, business model. Next stage, he identified the illumination phase, getting the money from others. And later on, he knows how to manage that one. So there's a nice story about the Ola, Bhavesh Agarwal. He was an IIT graduate. He resigned from Microsoft. He started Ola Trip, which was a failed one. Once again, he started the Ola and he started entering into the another field also, Ola Electric. So that is how he flourished. So based upon this discussion, you have to understand what are all the entrepreneurial process, what are all the 5 model of the porters to overcome anything. Then what are all the types of the business models? Then very important thing, the impactful digital entrepreneur. Here, Bhavesh Agarwal proved that with the help of a disrupting technology using digital media, we can solve the problem of public. Very big problem of the public for traveling anywhere has been solved by the Ola. That is how he innovated, he disrupted, achieved. That is why he is called as an digital entrepreneur, also as an impactful entrepreneur.